Imagine a world where your reputation matters more than wealth. A world where loyalty is absolute and failure can cost you everything. In feudal Japan, warriors lived by a strict code of honor. They trained their bodies, sharpened their minds, and accepted death as part of life. These warriors were called the samurai. For centuries, they were the backbone of Japanese society. They fought wars, protected their lords, and shaped the values of an entire nation. This is the story of who the samurai really were, beyond the myths, beyond the movies, and why their legacy still matters today. The samurai were the warrior class of feudal Japan. They emerged around the 8th century during a time of political instability. Japan was divided into territories controlled by powerful landowners. These lords needed protection, and the samurai provided it. The word samurai comes from a verb meaning to serve. Samurai were expected to serve their lord with complete loyalty, even at the cost of their own lives. However, samurai were not simple soldiers. They often received education in reading and writing, philosophy, calligraphy, and poetry. A true samurai was expected to master both the sword and the mind. Over time, samurai became not only warriors, but also political leaders and decision makers. A samurai's training began at a very young age. From childhood, discipline was strict and unforgiving. They were taught to endure pain, control fear, and remain calm under pressure. Physical training was intense. Mental strength was just as important. The most iconic samurai weapon was the katana. It was crafted with extreme care and passed down through generations. To the samurai, the katana was more than a weapon. It represented honor, identity, and responsibility. Samurai usually carried two swords, the long katana and the shorter wakizashi. Together, they symbolized the samurai's social status. In battle, samurai also used spears for formations, bows for long-range combat, and later, firearms. Despite popular myths, samurai were practical warriors. They adapted to new technology when necessary. The samurai lived according to a moral philosophy called Bushido, the way of the warrior. Bushido was not written as a single law. Instead, it was shaped by tradition, culture, and belief. Its core values included loyalty to one's lord, personal honor, courage in the face of danger, discipline and self-control, respect for others. A samurai was expected to act with dignity at all times. Death was not seen as an enemy. Fear of dishonor was far worse. If a samurai failed his duty or brought shame upon himself, he could perform seppuku, a ritual suicide. This act was meant to restore honor, not escape punishment. To modern eyes, this seems extreme, but for samurai, honor defined their worth as human beings. For much of Japanese history, war was constant. Rival clans fought for land, power, and survival. Samurai participated in brutal battles, sieges, and duels. Victory brought honor. Defeat often meant death. However, everything changed during the Edo period, beginning in 16. Japan entered a long era of peace under strict government control. With fewer wars, samurai lost their primary role as warriors. Many became government officials, teachers, writers, and artists. They still followed Bushido, but their swords were rarely drawn. Peace slowly weakened the traditional samurai system. One of the most famous samurai in history was Miyamoto Musashi. He fought over 60 duels and was never defeated. Musashi believed true victory came from understanding both combat and oneself. He later wrote the Book of Five Rings, a work on strategy, discipline, and mindset. Another influential figure was Oda Nobunaga. He was a powerful warlord who helped unify Japan. Unlike traditionalists, he embraced firearms and modern tactics. Together, figures like these shaped the samurai legacy. In the 19th century, Japan began to modernize rapidly. Western technology and ideas entered the country. During the Meiji Restoration, the samurai class was abolished. They were no longer allowed to carry swords in public. Their privileges and social status were removed. For many samurai, this was devastating. They lost not only their profession, but also their identity and purpose. The age of the samurai had come to an end. Today, samurai exist mostly in stories and imagination. They appear in films, anime, novels, and video games, but their values still resonate. Discipline, focus, honor, self-mastery. These ideas continue to inspire people around the world. They lived in a harsh and unforgiving world, yet their dedication to principle and purpose remains powerful. Even centuries later, the spirit of the samurai lives on not in battlefields, but in the way we face challenges with discipline and resolve.